Can the divine masculine and the divine feminine switch roles? Brothers and sisters, shalom. Sagi here. I haven't posted for a long time on this channel about twin flames, which is actually the reason or the trajectory of this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel started with me and my twin flame back in 2018 or 2019, starting to post. At that time we were in Peru. We went on a journey together that we didn't know what's the outcome of it would be. We just knew we had to start moving towards a new definition of life. And since then we have experienced 2 children. We have experienced, of course, the separation phase, which we are still in. We have experienced the runner and the chaser and all sorts of things, you know, the awakening, of course, the realizations, almost a never-ending story between 3 continents and overseas. I live in Israel, she lives in the United States. We have been moving together intentionally in Europe and in South America, trying to realize who we are, trying to manifest what we came here to do in this lifetime. And the separation period started during the second pregnancy of our mutual son, second mutual son. She has another child from a different relationship. I have 2 other children from different relationships. So it's really a Netflix series, our situation and our story. And really just recently I've discovered that she is on a new in a new relationship. She expressed it as a committed relationship, and apparently they are moving in together with my children. This was a blow. I needed to take some time for myself, which I'm doing right now, to figure out my own path, to figure out the trajectory, to figure out my role as a father. What does that mean, from being so far away and not being able to enter the United States and seeing my children? And well, that's a whole different story. If you stay tuned on this channel, I'll share more about this. Today I would like to touch something that came up with me, which is the question if divine masculine and divine feminine can actually switch roles, or maybe they are actually both of them experiencing it in one body. Meaning, if each of us, twin flame, either we are a male in this incarnation or female, if each of us can consciously experience what it means to be divine feminine and divine masculine. Actually, the answer should be yes, right? For if we are one soul, and if we are functioning as this quantum hyper something where whatever is happening to me, it's happening to her, then we should be able to experience in our own bodies, in our own conscious mind, what does that mean to be a divine feminine and to be a divine masculine. And that even have a particular interesting meaning in my own personal story, because I am in a masculine body, in a male body, but actually I have experienced in this lifetime more the feminine. It started with the wound that I had towards my mother, or thanks to my mother, or with my mother, which put me on a trajectory of this constant being occupied with my feminine side, looking for that, trying to heal that, trying to compensate that. And throughout my life, I was attracted to women, but also especially to groups of women, like even just for friendships. I found myself being more comfortable in female majority, in female circles. I found that sharing with women and girls, it's easier for me, it's more comfortable for me. I didn't like so much that male conversation, male doing of things, male friends of mine. I had, of course, a lot of male friends. I was also active in sports, but I couldn't open up to males as much as I could to females, and I always looked for that deeper conversation, for really diving deep, not just scratching the surface. And when I met my twin flame, and I didn't know at all about the story of twin flames at one point, and I believe when things started to shaking up between us, this is when she came to me and told me about that she discovered it. I think also at that point it was recent that she discovered that. And after our breakup, in the period of separation, I delved deep into that story on social media, especially on YouTube, trying to acquire as much information as I could to understand what is going on with me, with our relationships. And that has been like that since then. At the last 1.5 years, I knew a time of separation where I was more with myself, more content with being with myself. There was also a war in Israel, and that took a lot of my attention. Being present, being conscious, being sovereign, and practicing my mastery in a land that is experiencing war. That was some challenge. But already through the breakup, I understood that I'm actually playing more the role of the feminine, the divine feminine role. I was attracted to listen to a lot of material on twin flames, and especially to some of those channels that are targeting or more expressing things that have to do with the divine feminine. I've noticed how it speaks to me personally, to my own place in that story of twin flames. And I started to realize gradually that I am that. I am the divine feminine. I was also the chaser, or you could say the more evolved twins, or the twin that is more in spirituality, and I'm also older, 9 years older than my twin. That all doesn't really have a meaning. It's just nice accessories to the story. But it brought me to the realization that I am more attached with my feminine side, and actually I need to get closer to my masculine side. And in order for me to be able to open up to the masculinity, I need to make peace with the feminine, because actually what I was trying to control was the feminine. I somehow accepted the masculine as it is and didn't want to do much with it, and with the role of the masculine, or with masculinity, the harsh side of masculinity, the ego part of masculinity. But I was trying to control the feminine part inside of me, and therefore the feminine side in my relationships. And that of course comes from my own relationship with my mother, where she was the controlling aspect of my life. She tried to control me, controlled almost everything. So this is how I learned it, right? I learned feminine is controlling. This is how I learned it as a little boy. And I've apparently tried to do it by through wanting to counter control the women in my life. I was very open and very considerate and very reflective and whole encompassing, much like a feminine is. Maybe that helped me to understand the feminine better. But then I was trying to control the feminine. And maybe this is even a pattern that has to do in general with divine masculine and divine feminine, maybe in whole relationships. We definitely see it around the world, that control is the main issue. So putting that aside for a second, that's a story for another video. I understood that I have to move myself towards embracing the role of the divine masculine. And recently, I've done that gradually, and recently I have, my ex, my twin flame, when she told me about, or when I discovered that she's moving in with her new boyfriend, relationship, whatever it is over there, with my children, that pushed me towards being a masculine. And what does a masculine do? He bolts. Well, at least I had that feeling that this is what I want to do. And then I looked at the past and I noticed that I have done this in the past as well. That this is sort of a pattern. That when the relationship broke, either this twin flame relationship, and it broke several times, or my past relationships, I tried to heal them, I tried to hold on to them, I tried to manipulate them to coming back together, to force them to coming back together. And when that didn't help, I made a decision to go somewhere completely else, to do something completely else. And this is actually triggering abandonment issues that we all have in general, regardless if we are on a twin flame journey or not. And I've noticed that I'm playing both roles, right? I am the one being abandoned, but then I'm also the one abandoning in the end. After I was being abandoned, then I'm deciding, okay, then I abandon the story, I abandon that person, I go. Of course, with my twin flame, it was different because we have mutual children. I couldn't just leave and go, I couldn't just step away. It was close to impossible because of the mutual children. But now I made a different decision. Now, for the first time, I decided to step. I don't want to say step back, because I'm not stepping back, I'm just not moving forward with their decision or with her decision. Because so far, when she made a decision to leave the relationship and go somewhere else, I followed. I followed to support her, I followed to support the children, I followed because I understood her. But then in the end, I was just pushed away. That is the pattern. So now I decided not to follow. I've decided that I'm not going there, they are moving together, they should have their time to move in together and to play family, which is actually what I wanted for my own children. I wanted them to experience our family. It's not going to be good for me to observe this from the sidelines. I don't see how I can contribute right now to that, so I need the time for myself to figure out how I'm supposed to move forward. And actually this is pushing me towards more inside, right? Towards more the healing and the union that is taking place inside. So I'm sharing all of this because it's good to share, but then because it's really an explanation, or it's a nice thing to see how we do play both sides. We always play the abuser and the victim. We play both sides. We play the role of the runner and the chaser. We play both sides. And apparently we are also playing both the divine masculine and divine feminine Now the idea is to bring union. The idea is to come to balance, which means as close as possible to 50-50, right? Or 100% masculine, 100% feminine in the same body. The thing is that I decided in this reincarnation to present myself as a male. Therefore, I will have, at least on a physical level, the inclination to be more masculine. And since I also would like my twin flame partner to reach the same, but from her perspective, meaning being much more balanced between masculine and feminine inwardly, but outwardly to express more the feminine, then this is really what my union should look like. The finding of this inner balance between masculine and feminine, no blame, no shame, acceptance, respect to decisions that I make and decisions that my counterpart or my twin, my reflection, take. And then outwardly performing the masculine role, which is creating stability, which is protection, which is leadership. Thank you so much for listening. I am Sagi Cohen. Do check my other videos on that. Actually, there's a lot of information because I'm a personal transformation coach, and I speak a lot about transformation, spiritualism, and how to bring that down to earth, right? Not just this high talk, but the steps for moving it from up there into this reality and manifesting it here on earth. So you're welcome to cruise my channel, and please stay in touch. I will be in the near future posting much more about my personal transformation when it comes to the twin flame story, because it's just a story in the end and we need to go beyond it and share with the steps that I'm taking, and hopefully it can help you guys too. Blessings from Israel. Take care.